Okay, folks, good evening. Sorry about my phone blasting itself just as we went live. But welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk. I'm Mobile Geezer. And if you're on the YouTube side, then you're on my Mobile Geezer channel. And if you're on Facebook, then you're either on my Mobile Geezer ID or George Hayes ID. All three broadcast simultaneously, so you can see me live on any of the three. And here comes everybody. Great. Renz, glad you're here, brother. Always glad when you can pop in. I know you're super busy. You're right on time. And Annette is right on time also. Glad you guys popped in. And Brian has been here for a while. Brian got in here at 7:08, so he's been here almost an hour. So, and let me get a little announcement out of the way. He said, Friday Night Tech Talk Thanksgiving Edition, iOS RCS, which is one of the stories we're going over tonight. More on that in a minute. So I just said, well, technically, that will be next Friday's Friday Night Tech Talk on Mike's Simply Your Device channel. Welcome. And you'll see what I mean in a minute, but I just wanted to give you guys the first heads up. Next week, it'll be on Simply Your Device on Mike's channel. And, but I did say, but RCS iOS is definitely a part of this week's agenda. Now, if this is your first time here, please type something in the comments so I'll know that you're here. And let's see. What is friend saying? How about breast nuts, George? Yeah, I haven't been hitting the bag as much as I should. I need to do that more often. Renz is, I'm sure we all are excited about RCS on iOS. Yeah, and I've got both the call pay nothing story on that, and I've got the story of iOS finally accepting RCS. So if it's your first time here, every week I have this on my show notes, which is on my website. So why don't I just share screen and let you see where that is. Okay, so whatever stories I'm on for the week, they're always in my show notes. And if you go to mobilegeezer.wordpress.com, if you click on today's date, you'll get just the show notes for tonight's show. So you can follow along. You can click on all the stories as I go through them. But every week when I show you my website, I give you a preview of the stories we're going to talk about. But this week, what I started with, first thing, major announcement, as usual, for Friday Night Tech Talk. Mike, and there's Mike, of Simply Your Device will host the Black Friday version of Friday Night Tech Talk. So Mike's been doing that pretty regularly for the last few years. So tune into the Simply Your Device channel on YouTube next Friday, November 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern. So not here on Mobile Geezer next week. It's on Simply Your Device. So I wanted to make sure I said that. I'll say it somewhere in the middle of the show and at the end of the show, just to remind people. And probably tomorrow or Sunday, I'll put a note on my channel just to make sure people can see that. So giving you a quick preview of what we're going to talk about. And most of this is going to be next Friday because Mike likes to talk about the Black Friday deals. But there was a couple that I said, okay, they're early. Let me show a couple. So some early Black Friday stuff. Target sale lasts all month. That's on Mashable. So we'll just take a quick look. And we'll go through these Black Friday deals very quickly because I'm not going to read the whole articles. Then we go into some serious stuff. This week, Nothing, called Pay, said Nothing Chats is going to have their version of iMessage. So it's coming to Nothing Phone 2. And I happen to have, I didn't plan this way, but I happen to have my Nothing Phone 2 today at work as my secondary phone. But you'll see there's a little catch there, but we'll get into that. So that was on CNET. So we'll go on to that second. What I usually try to do is start with a story that's not as important to give people some time to get in, and then I start with that what I think is the heavy duty stuff. And Elna's here. Hi, Elna. Glad you're here. And you can see Renz is here, Brian's here, and Annette is here. So glad all you guys are here. Here's Ted. Ted, you should get in here. So that's the second story. Third story will be the heavy duty of the week. Even though the Nothing Phone story is pretty heavy too. RCS coming to iPhones. Apple finally gives in. This was just yesterday they announced this. So that will go on Tech Radar, but of course everybody had that story. And then Louis Rossmann has been talking a lot lately about ad blockers and whether they're legal, whether they're not, especially on YouTube. And I said YouTube ad block dispute becoming a major discussion topic. The EU may get involved. So that's a story on Tom's Hardware. We'll go over that. And if people are suing YouTube about these ad blockers. And then we'll do a quick look at Walmart's deals for days. Some Walmart early Black Friday deal on Tom's Guide. Like I said, all the other Black Friday stuff will be on Mike's channel next week. And finally tonight, I just thought this was an interesting story. You know, I always try to include stories I don't think you're going to hear everywhere. Microsoft to allow EU users to uninstall what I called embedded apps from Windows. Other areas outside of the EU, not going to happen, at least not yet. So that'll be on PC Mag. I just thought that was a very interesting story. And you'll see it because the EU's new law, which we've talked about before. So those are the stories we're going to talk about. So everybody remember, next week, it'll be on Simply Your Device on Mike's channel, and we'll be talking about Black Friday. I think Mike also wants to talk about my OnePlus Open, and that was my main phone for today. So I think he wants to discuss some of our phones, and he and I both had the Galaxy A54. He may want to talk about that. So anyway, that's what we'll be. Some of the stuff we'll be talking about next week. And Ren says hi. And Ted says, sorry, can't jump on tonight. Watching, Xmas lights. Okay, so he's out watching Christmas lights with friends. Okay, can't knock that. All right, so if Will happens to come on, I was kind of hoping because we had so much RCS stuff, and we know Will and Mike have been talking RCS for 3 years now, a while. But who knows? Will's awfully busy. So I'm going to start with tonight's stories. And if Will does pop in, I'll let you guys know. So, some early Black Friday stuff. Target sale lasts all month. This is on Mashable. So let's take a quick look in there. Like I said, I'm not going to go through the whole article. I'll just kind of give you guys highlights. So it's probably going to be a short night if it's just me. So Target's Black Friday sale is live. Check out the deals here. And this was updated 3 days ago. The deals are changing every week. So if you see a good one, grab it. And this is by Leah Stoddart. I think that's how you pronounce it. Target is talking headphones, small kitchen appliances, gaming gear, and more this Black Friday. Update from the 13th. Target's Black Friday sale, which contains its biggest savings of the season, kicked off October 29th. So it's been going on a while and will span 4 weeks leading up to Black Friday. So this is all month long. Renz likes my my OnePlus Open, my fold device. Yeah, I love this thing. Seems like everybody else that has it loves it. I'm the one who doesn't have any of the Samsung folding devices or the Pixel Fold, but most of them are picking this one as the best of the bunch. So I'm glad I waited. All right, back to Target Black Friday. Oh, and I remember I needed to keep this out of reader view because it took away some of the deals. So, yeah, see, you guys can get on here and click on any of these you want, but just wanted to give you an idea. iPad Air for 500, Philips 50-inch QLED Roku TV, 250. That's a pretty good price, I think, for a 50-inch OLED Roku. Laptop deal. You got FAO Schwarz Toys, pretty good deals as far as I read. You've got a Dyson V8 Origin. I gather this is the terrific price, and of course, it seems like all the ladies I know that use vacuums, which I think is most, they love their Dysons. So it's news to no one that Black Friday singular day nomenclature isn't even close to an accurate depiction of how long Black Friday season actually spans. Yeah, it used to be a day. Now it's a month, like this thing is implying. Take Target, for example. It officially began releasing early Black Friday deals on October 29th, with new ones materializing in the following 4 weeks leading up to Thanksgiving weekend, so up to next week. All of this is part of what Target says are its best savings of the year. Best Buy is similarly ahead of the game, and Walmart is right on the heels. And I have a Walmart Black Friday towards the end of tonight's stories. If it feels like you were just reading about all of these deals Target was dropping you, you were. Target Circle Week was just a few weeks ago. I had no idea what that even was. While the product categories seeing price lists for Circle Week and Black Friday, TVs, video games, headphones, kitchen and cleaning supplies are similar, you don't need to be a Target Circle member to access a majority of Target's early Black Friday deals, as you did with Circle Week deals. Target is switching up its sales on a weekly, sometimes daily basis, so we're keeping tabs on the best early Black Friday deals at Target as they show up. So, they got their pick for iPad Air, and they're going to tell you why they like it. So we'll go over a little bit of this. Released last year, the 5th generation iPad Air is still a solid tablet. It's powered by the M1 chip, compatible with the Apple Pencil 2, and is elegant, powerful, and versatile, enough for both casual users and professionals. Mashable Stan Schroeder noted in his review of the tablet. At $500, the 64-gigabyte Wi-Fi only version is back at its all-time low Prime Day pricing ahead of Black Friday. So I guess that the only time it's been this low was Prime Day. And you got more deals. Again, their pick. They tell you why. This is the Philips 50-inch TV. I'm just going to scan down. Then you can see there's all kinds of ones you can click on here and go take a look at them. But like I say, I'm not going to read all of this. I just wanted to make you guys aware that there's plenty of deals out here and just give you a sample. The FAO Schwarz Toys. Yeah, here, there's something for every kid on your list in this FAO Schwarz sale at Target. Take 25% off on over 170 different toys. That's pretty good, I think. From tea party sets and makeup mirrors to boxing robots and magnetic tiles. Boy, I wish I had boxing robots when I was a kid, but they didn't. All right, so you got more deals here. There's that Dyson. The cheapest path to a cordless Dyson is the V8. So I guess if you're looking for one that doesn't cost so much, this one's on sale right now, and I gather it's pretty terrific. So I'll let you guys know about it. And I don't know that I'm going to read any of the rest of this. So they have their frequently asked questions, they price match it, and yet I read this already. They absolutely do price match. So that's not even an issue. So just wanted to let you guys know about some of the Black Friday. So that's Target. And like I said, this is going on till the end of the month. So let's get out of this one. Let me stop screen for a minute. Okay, nothing new in the comments. Okay. So we'll go back to the next story. It's probably going to be a quick and early night. Actually, with Ted Night last week, it was still a pretty quick and early night because I guess I had shorter stories than usual. So on to the first real, what I think is the first really important story. Nothing chats. Nothing's version of iMessage comes to, oh, I spelled it wrong. Nothing phone 2, I said today, and that was today. But you have to be on the beta. That's why I do not have it on my Nothing Phone 2, even though I have the Nothing Phone 2. So we're going to go over to CNET and check that out. Nothing Chats aims to bring iMessage to Android, but it sounds messy. Now, my impression is this was just coincidental that Apple announced the very next day. So I don't think any of this was intentional of them coming at the same time. The new app only works with the Nothing Phone 2, and you'll need to jump through a few hoops, and that's why I wanted you guys to see this, to get iMessage to work. So number one, you have to have the Nothing Phone 2. Right now, it's the only one it works with. So let's jump into review, get rid of some of these ads. The new app only works on Nothing Phone 2. I said you jump through a few hoops. And that was by Mike Sorrentino. Expertise. No, that's the one I want. A new texting app claims to bring Apple's iMessage. He says claims. So nobody's tried this yet, I don't believe, to bring Apple's iMessage system to an Android phone, but you'll want to pay close attention to how it works, as it's certainly not sanctioned by the iPhone maker. Nothing Chats, which UK-based phone maker Nothing announced Tuesday, will launch in beta on November 17th, today. Remember, it's on beta, so that's why I don't have it. As an alternative to the Google Messages app that currently ships with this Nothing Phone 2. Now, will I go on beta and see if I can pull this in? Maybe, but I only have one Nothing Phone, and I don't like to be on betas when I only have one of that type of phone. Like if I have two iPhones, okay, I'll go on beta with one. Same thing with the 2 Pixels, but I only have one Nothing Phone, so I probably won't do it. Nothing Chats uses Sunbird, a cross-platform texting service currently in its own beta period. So you got a beta in a beta. That's why I said I probably won't do it. To offer support for Apple's iMessage service. In theory, it will allow users of Nothing's flagship phone the ability to text iPhone users as if they're on an iPhone themselves, appearing as a blue bubble. Nothing Chats will also support texting over the RCS protocol to other Android phones, along with SMS and MMS. Interestingly, Apple did not respond to a request for comment. So, Call Pay and Nothing did this totally on their own. Didn't ask anybody for permission and didn't let Apple know. So I gather they found out when we found out. And there was a video the other day that he made about it. And then I saw the same day, Tuesday, MKBHD made a video about it, which was pretty interesting. So I guess for Tim Cook, this was as out of the blue as it was for the rest of us. Even though there are many cross-platform text services that work across the iPhone and Android devices, such as WhatsApp, Signal, and Telegram, many people prefer to use the standard texting app as their primary method to text friends and family. Apple's iMessage service, which is built into the iPhone's Messages app, has a particular cultural dominance in the US, that's for sure, for providing features that can only be sent between iPhone users, like enhanced media sharing, security, and games. While rival services often match these features, Signal, for instance, just announced spoiler text formatting that functions like Apple's Invisible Ink. The convenience of having these features built into iOS is a draw that often keeps iPhone customers from considering Android phones. To set up iMessage instead of Nothing Chats, you'll first need the $600 Nothing Phone 2, which is what I have here, which I've shown you. A Nothing representative confirmed that the app won't currently work on the original Nothing Phone 1, nor any other Android phone at launch. So only one you only got one shot at this with this one phone. The app will be available to download from the Google Play Store. I guess it should be there now, and will initially be available in the US, Canada, the UK, and other European countries. After downloading the app, you'll need to log into Nothing Chats with an Apple ID username. So this is where I think some security stuff may come in, or create one if you don't have one already. So at least you can create an Apple ID if you don't have one. Even though Nothing promises that neither it nor Sunbird will store any of your message data or Apple ID information, that's what you got to worry about. You should keep in mind that you are initially entering your login details that might also be tied to other Apple services. So yeah, see, this would make me nervous and probably a bunch of other people. A Nothing rep explained that these details are tokenized by Sunbird, used to set up a relay with one of Sunbird's, now get this, with one of Sunbird's Mac Mini computers that make the connection to iMessage, and after setup are destroyed by Sunbird. We hope. So you see how this works. You're logging in with your Apple ID, and the only reason it works for Sunbird is because they're going through a Mac Mini. So everybody who's using this is going on Sunbird's Mac Mini, and then it connects to iMessage. So they're not connecting directly. They're using Apple's own stuff to connect to iMessage. So on their own, my guess is they couldn't do it. This process is different from using the Sign In with Apple feature to make an account on another website, which does use an Apple ID but does not require you to provide any sensitive information or passwords. You should then set Nothing Chats as your default messaging app. So I guess now, once you do that, you have access to both Android and iMessage. To start sending and receiving iMessage chats from iPhone users alongside text from Android devices. So now you can get both. The Nothing Chats app uses a workaround developed by Sunbird to provide iMessage access. Yeah, they're going through the Mac Mini. It functions much like using iMessage from an iPad or Mac. Gee, no one. I couldn't have guessed that, rather than an iPhone. You want to keep in mind that iMessage text you send will use the email address attached to your Apple ID instead of your phone number. It's similar to using iMessage from an iPad or Mac computer, makes sense, when you don't otherwise have an iPhone. Nothing plans to build phone number capability in a future update. For now, this might mean your text will show up as coming from an email address instead of your phone number, though whenever you text, whoever you text can fix that by including your Apple ID email within your contact information. So now they want them to go do more stuff too. I think they're asking too much. Now, of course, you don't have to do that. An updated vCard contact, Nothing suggests sending your frequent iMessage contacts an updated vCard contact file to save. But this last step might be the most complicated since it requires proactively updating other people's phones. See, there's a lot of steps here, in addition to being in the beta. Nothing Chats for desktop web browsers is also in the works to allow texting from a computer or tablet. But a company representative said there isn't yet a timeline for when that will launch. I don't think anybody knows how this is going to work or how messy this may or may not be. Message reactions are also not available at launch, with Nothing planning to add these before the end of the year. Nothing Chats isn't the first service to provide a workaround for iMessage texting from an Android phone, but none of the options are particularly simple. Well, this one doesn't sound particularly simple to me. Beeper, which is also currently in beta, also aims to provide access to iMessage and other chat apps. AirMessage, I never heard of that one. I heard of Beeper. AirMessage takes a self-hosted approach, where it's installed directly on a Mac that must be running at all times with messages forwarded over to an Android phone. So they're kind of doing the same thing that Sunbird is doing. These approaches may allow for Android phones to send and receive iMessage texts, but they come with their own security trade-offs, I'm sure, and are unlikely to maintain feature parity as Apple updates its official iMessage service with new features. Sure, because they could send an update to iMessage, but you're probably not going to see that. While we would need to try out Nothing Chat, so they haven't tried it either yet, before offering a clear verdict on it, it's important to understand that the app's iMessage access isn't exactly an ideal way of jumping into Apple's texting ecosystem, since it requires a technical workaround, sure does, that relies on setting up a connection through a remote Mac mini computer. So, it doesn't sound like figuring this out was very complicated, because they're just going to an Apple product. Well, that's what we all have to do. And if you'll be asking your contacts that absolutely must text you on iMessage to save your email address, the same effort could probably be used to figure out a different chat app to use. Yes, I bet you we could all figure this out, as long as we're using a Mac Mini or a Mac or something like that. The Nothing Chats app does provide 2 ways to end the connection to Apple's iMessage if you decide it doesn't work for your needs. One is a manual option from within the app, so you can get off that way. The other is an automatic disconnection from the service after 2 weeks of inactivity. Nothing's iMessage access, being developed entirely separately from Apple, also may lag behind any new iMessage features that Apple adds into iOS. I can see that. That said, if you understand all these caveats, and there's a bunch of them, aren't there, and absolutely need Blue Bubble texting, Nothing Chats is potentially an option, as long as you have Nothing's latest phone. And update 2:38 today, I guess, Pacific time, adds additional information on how Nothing and Sunbird handles. So we probably already read that in the story. So as you can see, there's some hoops to jump through. You've got to be in beta. You've got to have the Nothing Phone 2. And I don't think, who knows when they'll open this up to any other phone. And like I said, I don't think anybody knows how this is even going to work. So just wanted to, that's kind of an important story to know. Now, of course, I don't think Nothing or CallPay had any way of knowing that the very next, 2 days later, Apple was going to bring in RCS itself, which is our next story. Just coincidental timing, I think. All right, nothing new in the comments, so we will continue on. So pretty interesting story, I think. Okay. This is the biggest story of the week. And I was kind of hoping we could get Will in here, because Will has been looking for this for years. RCS coming to iPhones. Apple finally gives in. We're going to read it on Tech Radar. I love the way they titled it. Hell freezes over. Apple to support RCS messages from Android phones next year. So we're getting close. Breaking. Apple will support RCS. The green bubble shame set to end. I never had any shame about it, but I guess probably teenagers do, is my guess. All right, let's go into read review, see if we can get some of these ads, and we can keep everything we need to read about. Apple will finally add RCS messaging standard support to the iPhone through a software release early next year, the company told TechRadar. I'm guessing they're going to do this in January, but nobody knows yet. RCS, or Rich Communication Services, a communication standard developed by the GSM Association and adopted by much of the Android ecosystem. At this point, we pretty much all the big phones on Android have it, is designed to universally elevate messaging communication across mobile devices. Even though Apple has been working with the group, I had no idea they were. It has, until this moment, steadfastly refused to add RCS support to iPhones. Now, however, Apple is changing its tune. Later next year, we will be adding support for RCS Universal Profile, the standard as currently published by the GSM Association. We believe the RCS Universal Profile will offer a better interoperability experience when compared to SMS or MMS. I'd say it's a whole lot better than those. This will work alongside iMessage, which will continue to be the best and most secure messaging experience for Apple users, said an Apple spokesperson. So they're not saying anything about how secure the RCS, but it's saying alongside, not within. Apple is now acknowledges that RCS is an improvement over MMS and SMS. Well, I think we all knew that, but made it clear that RCS is not replacing iMessage and its host of features like Memoji, stickers, and the ability to edit and unsend messages. Instead, the RCS standard support will arrive in an unspecified software update, and then it will be up to carriers to add it. And I think that's very important because remember, it took years of Google kind of encouraging and badgering the carriers that did start using it, but it took them a long time. I think T-Mobile was one of the first, maybe AT&T. It took Verizon forever to add it. So it says it'll be up to the carriers. Well, I don't think we have any way of knowing when that will happen, even if the Apple adds it. So I wouldn't be looking for it anytime soon, especially if you're locked into a carrier. When RCS does arrive on your best iPhone, though, it means the end of the green bubble shame. It amazes me. For your best Android phone owning friends, family, and coworkers. They'll be able to send and receive high-resolution photos and videos from their phones to your iPhone. Group messaging could become platform agnostic. So again, I don't think they know for sure. And they'll be able to share their location with you through RCS-supported messaging. So, Renz, we may be waiting a while for this. I'm not sure. There is naturally a wrinkle here. The RCS standard still doesn't support end-to-end encryption, which is very sad. Apple, which has offered encrypted messaging for over a decade, is kind of a stickler about security. Although I do follow a couple of channels that says Apple's end-to-end encryption security isn't as great as they make it out to be. I'm talking experts say this, not me. Although it's got to be better than what RCS has at the moment. Apple says it won't be supporting any proprietary extensions that seek to add encryption on top of RCS and hopes instead to work with the GSM Association to add encryption to the standard. I think that would be dear. I'm sure they don't want a whole bunch of extensions popping in on them. So, I would lock those out completely if I were them. My guess is that's what they'll do. As long as third-party apps support the universal RCS standard, though, they will work with Apple's incoming RCS support. Apple, now get this, Apple offered no details on which iOS update might include RCS support. So we don't know when it's coming, and it's unclear just how many generations of iPhone will support the communication standard. So we don't know if we're going to go back to iPhone 11, 12, 10, who knows? Nobody knows yet. A messaging breakthrough. The news comes long after Apple's biggest competitors and Android leaders, Samsung and Google, introduced support for the standard. That's right, Samsung was one of the first after Google. Of course, Google has been particularly critical of Apple's seeming refusal to support what is clearly a better, at least in some respects, universal standard. Well, certainly it's better than what they had, what Google had, it meant, or what Android had. Everyone deserves to communicate with each other in ways that are modern and secure, no matter what phone they have. That's why we have worked closely with the mobile industry to accelerate the adoption of RCS, and we're happy to see Apple take their first step today by coming on board to embrace RCS. We welcome Apple's participation in our ongoing work with GSMA to evolve RCS and make messaging more equitable and secure, and look forward to working with them to implement this on iOS in a way that works well for everyone, we hope, a Google spokesperson told TechRadar in an email. This announcement comes just 2 days, after Nothing skirted Apple's RCS rejection and brought iMessage to its Android-based phones. But as we read, that's not so straightforward as they make it out to be. At the time, many wondered how Apple CEO Tim Cook might react to this cheeky move from Nothing. There's no indication that this is a direct reaction. I agree. I think it's coincidental. In fact, it's more likely Apple saw the writing on the wall, and I agree here. As the European Union has, with its Digital Markets Act, pressed the tech giant to get in line with multiple standards. And I think this is strictly because of the European Union. The body clearly achieved some success with USB-C ports that are now featured on all iPhone 15 models. So I think this is the same thing. Apple knew this was coming, and they knew they were going to be forced. It tells you in the next sentence. Surely, the EU would have been compelling Apple to adopt RCS in 2024. Now it doesn't have to bother. Apple is on board. I agree. That's the reason. And I think the 2 days between Nothing and this being announced is purely coincidental. So, add a comment from Google, but I think we already read that. So, very interesting. So, when this happens, I'm guessing, my guess, it'll probably happen in January, but who knows? And then who knows when the carriers will add it? That's one of the keys. So, again, not as straightforward as it sounds, but certainly this one, what Apple saying RCS is okay, is certainly better than what I think called Pay and Nothing came up with. Yeah, I guess theirs will work, but I guess we'll start seeing articles probably by tomorrow whether theirs works, but since it was only available as of today. But you have to have the beta, and it sounds like there's just too many hoops for me to put it on my phone. So just wanted you guys to hear that. And let's see. Right, nothing new in the comments. I would have thought somebody would have commented on the RCS stuff. I know Renzer already said he's excited about it. I'm excited about it. But I think, in my case, I'm going to wait until Apple puts it there, and then it'll be on my iPhone. So, nothing new. Let me take a quick sip here. And now, going to get into another somewhat controversy. Sharing screen again. I said YouTube ad block dispute becoming a major discussion topic. The EU may get involved. This was on Tom's Hardware. And you're going to see the same message, I believe, in the article. So, YouTube may face criminal complaints in EU for using ad block detection scripts. So, yeah, this, I think, lawyer was smart to make a criminal investigation out of this, because now the EU has to get involved. Privacy consultant, no, that's who it is. asserts YouTube's detection script is spyware. And I think Louis Rossmann also has said that in other videos that I've watched. So let's see if we can go into Readerview and bypass some of these ads. And sometimes Readerview takes them. Okay. So this was written by Mark Tyson, and this was 5 days ago. YouTube may, may face criminal complaints in the EU for using ad block detection scripts. A privacy consultant based in Ireland says he's in the process of filing a criminal complaint against YouTube for alleged unlawful surveillance. Specifically, Alexander Hamp's legal action against the video streaming site is based upon YouTube's recent controversial enthusiasm for running scripts to detect ad blocking browser plugins. Yeah, and Louis Rossmann has pointed this out a bunch lately. The Register reports that Hamp has already filed a similar complaint regarding Facebook's collection of data without explicit consent. So he's filed a criminal complaint against both of them. And this is what YouTube, when you have blocking, YouTube tells you this video player will be blocked after 3 videos. It looks like you may be using an ad blocker. Video playback will be blocked unless YouTube is allow listed or the ad blocker is disabled. Ads allow YouTube to stay free for billions of users worldwide. You can go ad-free with you, so they want you to either go on YouTube Premium or take away the block. And these guys, this guy and Rossmann is saying this is probably illegal. So I guess we're going to find out. The criminal complaints made by Hanf can be seen as a stern follow-up to an earlier privacy fight-back initiative. 2 weeks previously, he filed a civil complaint about YouTube's browser extension snooping. And this is what Louis Rossmann has said, that browser is the problem here, at least for him. However, Ham sees the criminal complaint route as potentially more effective, as he asserts that historically EU regulators have been absolutely terrible at enforcing the e-privacy directive. So they're worse than sounds like they're as bad as America, but I think America's nowhere near as good as the EU in enforcing this kind of stuff. The criminal complaint route will also protect the privacy consultant from the risk of high costs associated with civil litigation. So, yeah, he's much better putting this in a criminal complaint, because now the EU has to investigate it, and he probably doesn't have to spend a ton of money having it investigated. Many YouTube watchers have been annoyed by the site probing their browser settings and popping up warnings. Yeah, because they're scanning all of us to find out if we have ad blockers on. Probing their browser settings and popping up with warnings with paid subscription adverts, as you can see above, the one we saw above. Hemp also has strong opinions about YouTube's ad blocking sniffing activities. I consider YouTube's script to be spyware, and this is what Rossmann said also, aka surveillance technology, as it is deployed without my knowledge or authorization to my device for the sole purpose of intercepting and monitoring my behavior, he explained. And I believe Rossmann said it is in the terms and conditions if you really dig down, but you shouldn't have to do that. And legally, this guy is probably going to prove that. It's my guess. All this snooping happens despite Hamps having set the do not track option in his browser of choice. So they're still doing it, even though he's got that turned on. Consent for site owners running scripts, analytics, and so on needs to be sought by sites like YouTube and Facebook. Hamp seems to have a strong case, I agree, as such consent is required under EU law, and I think EU laws are much tougher than American laws. Interestingly, Ireland has its own computer abuse law that will fortify Hamp's case against the Silicon Valley tech giants. Sections 2 and 5 of this law state that those intentionally accessing information by infringing security measures, and that's the courts are going to decide what's infringing security measures, or doing so without lawful authority shall be guilty of an offense. So these criminal cases could have a real impact on the sticky data fingers of YouTube and Facebook, at least in Ireland and the wider EU. So we will see. Just another, I think, very important story that we're probably going to be hearing about in the not so distant future. So let's see. Stop screen for a minute. Let's see, Ren said, we got some time to interact with us a little bit today, Ren. Paying YouTube premium just for the sake of removing those pesky ads on my side. So he's paying. Now, see, me, I paid YouTube premium for maybe 3 months earlier in the year, and then I stopped. And I've, again, gotten used to having the ads, and I'm not going to pay them. So that's just me. It bothers some people more than us. But Roland, glad you're here, brother. Always good to see you. So if you get a chance, go over to my site and look at the show notes, because there are some important stories, especially the nothing with their RCS for iMessage and with Apple allowing RCS. And again, we don't know exactly when, but hopefully early next year. So anyway, glad you got in here. So I tried to get Ted to come in, but he's out looking at Christmas lights with friends. So can't knock that, I guess. All right, so I'm going to continue on. I think I've got 2 other stories left. Yeah, 2 more stories. So the next one is once again going to be another Black Friday. Oh, and Demolin, you should know that next Friday we are going to be on Mike's Simply Your Device channel. Let's go to the top of my notes here. And I said major announcement, and Mike pretty much likes to do the Black Friday stuff every year. So I said, as usual, for Friday Night Tech Talk, Mike of Simply Your Device will host the Black Friday version of Friday Night Tech Talk. So tune into the Simply Your Device channel on YouTube next Friday, November 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern. So I just want everybody to know that. And I said that I bring it up again in the middle, which I just did, and I'm going to mention it again at the end. And I will put a message out on my YouTube over the weekend. So we did one of the Black Friday deals for Target. So now we're just going to do a little bit, and I'm just going to do some quick browsing, because you're going to get the heavy-duty Black Friday stuff from Mike next week. So I just said some Walmart early Black Friday deals. And this was on Tom's Guide. Walmart Black Friday deals are live. 57 sales I shop now. Obviously, I'm not going over all of them. The best sales to shop from Walmart right now. So we'll just pop around. Let's see if we can get this in reader view. Okay, see, in the other one, it made this stuff disappeared when it went into reader view, but on this one, it's okay. Walmart Black Friday. Oh, let me see who wrote this. Millie Davis Williams. Okay. And this was 3 days ago. Walmart Black Friday deals are here. Like many retailers, Walmart is getting started on its Black Friday sales early with new batches of deals going live by the minute. The next major batch of deals will come on November 22nd. So that's next Wednesday. Remember, Walmart Plus members get extra early access to the retailer's holiday sales. I'm not a Walmart Plus member. Let's see. Thought it told us when this was updated. If you're looking for deals, you can shop now. One of my favorite sales at Walmart right now is up to 50% off Crocs with deals from $9. Men's, women's, and children's styles are being heavily discounted. So you got all kinds of stuff going on here. So it's the perfect opportunity to pick up some stylish and company footwear. Jeans, t-shirts, hoodies, and shoes from Levi's are on sale starting from $15 right now too. I may have to stop and look in it. I do have some hoodies and just bought a couple of new ones, but you never have too many hoodies, in my opinion. We'll keep this page updated with all the best Black Friday sales from Walmart. And they have promo codes. So here's some of the quick deals. You got Adidas, children's bikes, adult and children's bikes, board games, Christmas decor, gaming laptop, HD TVs here. The TV deals are going to be pretty good, I would think. Kitchen appliances, Lego toys, Nintendo Switch. I already have mine. I'm not buying another one. Oh, games. Okay. PS5 games, smartphone. Look, good prices from 38 from 29. Pretty good prices, in my opinion. Smartphones, iPhone and Galaxy sales from 1 foot. Let's go click on that and see if it take. Okay. What do we got here? Restored. Okay, that makes sense. $289 iPhone 12, Samsung Galaxy Watch 4, which I highly recommend. That was my last one before my change this. That was my last watch before my Watch 5, which I happen to be wearing right now. So just a quick look. So yeah, you're going to get some refurbished stuff here, is my guess. So let's see if we can go back. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So I just wanted to let you guys see. So I'm just going to scan around, and yeah, here's the Crocs that she mentioned, jeans, Shark Days. I don't know what that means. For $4 to $4. Allswell hybrid mattress. So you got all kinds of things. AirPods Pro 2nd gen. They're down to one. And that's a pretty good deal, I think. Apple Watch 9, $349. Again, I think a good deal. MSI Sword gaming laptop. Anytime you get an MSI for under $1,000, that's probably a pretty good deal. So you got all kinds of editor's choice. You got Black Friday dates and times. It shows you next week in store, online, on lighting, and this is we've already passed the 8th. This will be next Wednesday. And this will be Thanksgiving Day, and this is Cyber Monday. So watch for those deals. So the second and last batch of holiday sales will begin November 22nd, like I said, on Wednesday. As a reminder, Walmart Plus members will be able to shop the sales 3 hours, so it's 3 hours earlier if you're a Plus member. The same sales will then hit Walmart stores on Thanksgiving Day. The retailer Cyber Monday promos were released on Monday, of course. So again, this gives you the dates should you join Walmart Plus. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that for you guys. Those are the only two Black Friday deals. I just happened to mention the Target one and this one because next Friday you're going to see lots of stuff from Mike, and of course we'll probably have all weekend long next week to get those deals, and then we have Cyber Monday right behind it. So we should be good to go. So, new comments. Okay. Glad to let you know about next week. And Mike is an Android trader. Yeah, Mike does a lot of trading. And since he's become so DoorDash happy because he's making all kinds of money. Well, he's getting more phones and he's quite happy about it. So that's why he's not here. But he's done the Black Friday. He did it last year and the year before. He said he thinks he's done it 4 or 5 years, so maybe he has. But anyway, it's become a tradition for him to take the Black Friday broadcast. So this is going to be my last story for tonight. Again, this is a story I thought was pretty interesting. I don't think you're going to hear about it everywhere. Microsoft to allow EU users to uninstall what I called embedded apps from Windows. Other areas, like not EU, that's not going to happen. So this was on PC Mag. So this was from yesterday. Microsoft to let European users uninstall Edge Bing from Windows. Microsoft is doing so to comply with the EU's Digital Markets Act. And remember, we've gone over the Digital Markets Act a few times in past shows. which we knew was a pretty heavy-duty act. That's part of what made Apple change the iPhone 12 in France because of that Digital Markets Act, which takes effect for several tech companies next March. So it fully goes into effect next March. But this was kind of surprising to me because you cannot do this in America. Well, there's a little piece you can do in America. But for the most part, this is strictly EU. So this was by Michael Kahn, and from a couple of days ago, I think. Microsoft will let users in the European Union uninstall the Edge browser from Windows. The company is making the change to comply with the EU's Digital Markets Act. I think it's Markets, I think, which was designed to ensure fair competition among the major tech companies, including Microsoft, Google, and Apple. The EU has designated these firms as gatekeepers, and we went over that story 4 or 5 weeks ago, due to their size and potential to suppress smaller players. Yeah, the whole Digital Markets Act is about making it fair for the smaller ones. Microsoft says it's preparing a preview of release of Windows 11 for EU users that'll let them uninstall Edge, which currently can't be removed from the OS or Windows 10. Oh, and they made those 3 gatekeepers, but they also made a couple of Chinese companies gatekeepers too. So it wasn't they weren't just picking on the American big shots. All apps in Windows can be uninstalled, the company added in the blog post. This is strictly in the EU. Along with Edge, the Bing-powered web search from the Windows search bar can also be disabled in Europe. Now, when they say in Europe, it's about the EU, so I kept wondering, can they do that in Britain? I don't know. They're not part of the EU anymore. In addition, EU users can also choose to remove Photos, Cortana, and Camera, and so can we, those 3 apps that Microsoft has also been starting to allow US users to remove. So we may be able to, I guess some US users can remove these 3, but not the rest. The Windows 11 preview release is slated to arrive later this month. So the EU will get this month. There's only another week and a half left. Redmond also plans on releasing a similar preview for Windows 10 at a later date. The goal is to eventually roll out the uninstall options for EU users by March 6th, the date it goes in, to comply with the Digital Markets Act. Yeah, I thought it was plural. Other ways Microsoft is opening up the OS to comply with EU rules includes adding interoperability to the Windows widget board and web search on Windows Search. This means users will be able to run third-party software over either function. Yeah, that's part of what the Act is all about. An example of, the OS will also continue to prompt EU users about changing their default settings whenever content is open to a newly installed app. So they're still going to bug you about it. But Redmond adds it'll still nudge users, to sync their Microsoft accounts with Windows. So I just thought it was interesting that because of the power that the EU has, Microsoft changed it just for the EU, but not for anybody else. I just thought it was interesting. Let's see. DeMolin said, I use BC Uninstaller and can uninstall Edge. Oh, okay. Didn't know. Very good. Yeah, I guess there are apps you can go out there and find. So, and DeMolin's very, very tech savvy. I know that. So that's everything I have for tonight, folks. And actually, it was no quicker than Ted and I last week. I guess I just had a bunch of very quick stories last week. So once again, let me go back up top just to remind you guys once more and let everybody know. Next week, we're going to be on Mike's Simply Your Devotion channel at usual time next Friday, November 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern. He's going to talk a bunch of Black Friday stuff. He hasn't sent me everything we're going to talk about, but I know he probably wants to talk about stop screen. He probably wants to talk about the OnePlus Open. I know he and I both have the Samsung Galaxy A54. He may want to talk about that. And he said generally he wants to talk about some of the phones we do have. Of course, I have the Nothing Phone 2, which I really love also. But spoiler, next month, this is going to be my phone of the year. It was going to be the S23 Ultra, which I've already sent in, but I already made my video to make that phone my phone of the year, but this is kind of replaced it in my heart. And we're all different, but just wanted you guys to know that's coming next month. So that's it for tonight. Oh, Damone, you're so kind. Thank you, George, for the time you take to put these stories together. Yeah, I just try to find the heavy-duty stuff that, you see everywhere, and I also try to find some stuff that would be interesting to those of us who are tech savvy, which is pretty much everybody here, and that you're not going to hear everywhere, because there's a lot of like these EU kind of stories that slip by and we never hear about them. But I think it's important for us to know about it because of the Digital Markets Act, at some point, some of this stuff and some of these rules are going to end up coming to America, probably Canada and other places. So I just think it's important to let you guys know about this stuff. And that way you can also go do more research about it if you want to yourselves. So next week we'll be on Mike's channel. I'll be coming in as his guest next week, but he'll be in control. And I'm kind of hoping he'll get Will and Ted, we get Ted in here too. So that'll all be next week on the Simply Your Device channel. So not on Mobile Geezer channel next week. I'll be back 2 weeks from today. So as always, I want everybody to have a very blessed weekend. And let's always remember we all do better when we love each other.